And of course, we need that chest to be as big as possible, and those triceps need to be bigger to get in proportion with the rest. But what you can see me do it right here is a lot of people have trouble actually getting their front delts injury free because they injure them, or they hurt them, or they simply have pain in them because they train the front delts too much, the chest too much, the shoulders too much, and then you get a disbalance in the strength, in the pulling on the joint that's in the shoulder. So the front delt will pull harder than the rear delt, and then you will get inflammation there, just an imbalance in strength. And you will feel it when you train the chest. So to prevent that, you want to first of all stretch the entire area out. So I like to do that by strengthening the rotator cuffs, using some stretching exercises like this, and then starting the chest workout. And the last stretch that I did, the dead hang, is something I really recommend for people who have trouble with their shoulders, who simply feel the impingement in their shoulders when doing a bench press or a dumbbell press, for example. Try the dead hang. And I also have another stretch on my YouTube channel called the shoulder fix. You can find it on the Vintage Genetics channel, but that's also a very good stretch to get the front delts fixed in a way. So we are starting out with the flat dumbbell press, and the reason for that is, first of all, it's an incredible exercise, one of the best exercises for chest, slightly better actually than the bench press, because you can still overload the muscle with a lot of weight, but because there's a freedom of movement, you can get a better stretch and a better contraction at the same time. And it's safer for the shoulders as well. You're just not able to overload the chest as much as with a bench press. But then again, the bench press is more injury prone. So we are actually doing 7 working sets with the dumbbell press, not counting the warm-up sets, which were actually 2 sets as well of 20 reps, and then we ramp up the weight with every single working set. We actually purchased and invested in dumbbells and a lot more equipment for 100% fit gym. Now we have dumbbells ranging from 2.5 kilograms with increments of 2.5 kilograms until 70 kilograms. A lot of gyms have they go until 50 kilograms and then they might have 60, but then they go from 50 to 60 immediately. And that kind of makes it impossible to get a nice progressive overload because the increments within 50 and 60 are way too great. So we purchased every single increment there was with 2.5 kilograms. So when you're able to do 6 reps with 50 kilograms, you can go for 52.5. For example, to try 6 reps with that for optimal progressive overload. But here you can see me try doing the dumbbell press with heavier and heavier weights. Of course, going to go for that heaviest 70 kilo dumbbell, and also added the pounds to it. So you guys who live in America can also see how much weight it is, because now the weights are starting to get serious, and that's why you really do need a spotter. As right now I'm working out with my dad, we spot each other every single time that we go heavy, and my dad is actually also doing dumbbells that are quite heavy, 55 kilograms, more than 130 pounds, especially since he's almost 50 years old. That is pretty impressive in my opinion. And right there you can see the dumbbell rack, and you can see that we have every kind of dumbbell that there is, all the same solid weight dumbbells. They have a hexagon shape so that if you drop them they won't roll away, which is optimal, and there they are, the 70 kilogram dumbbells. Let's do this indeed, because it's getting heavier, and what I'm doing here is I'm letting my dad actually grab the dumbbells. I know it's a lot of effort for the spotter, but when you work together you have to help each other in the most optimal way. Because in my opinion, if you have to get the dumbbells yourself, which are quite heavy, and then lift them up yourself, you already are losing energy for 1 or 2 reps, which would be wasted energy. Bodybuilding is all about hitting the muscle that you want to hit with everything that you've got. So right now you can see that I'm still going all the way down until I get a full stretch in the chest, then going all the way up without locking the elbows, which is very important. Alright, so these are the heaviest weights, and I want you to watch this closely. This is why you need a spotter. Right here with the first rep, which is the most difficult one, it's very difficult to get it out of the dead stop from the bottom upwards sometimes, as you don't know how heavy a dumbbell is before actually pressing it, and then you kind of need a spotter to help you up with the first rep. And then I was able to do at least 3 to 4 reps with the heaviest dumbbells in the gym, which was pretty nice to do for sure. So next time I'm going to try it again with a couple of more reps. But here we have the incline bench press banded on the Smith machine, and I really advise you to do this. Unfortunately, this is the only set we recorded, but here you can see that the higher I push this weight, the tighter those bands become and the harder it is to push it upwards. And you can see, if you look at the chest, that the contraction here is amazing, even though it is a barbell, so definitely give that a shot. And then we're going to do the seated cable flies, which I like a lot because it actually provides support in the back. The only thing you have to worry about is sitting still. And it allows you to focus on the chest a little bit more. It just hits it from a slightly different angle, and you can get a very nice stretch right here. Because if you watch, the shoulders, they go upwards a little bit when I go backwards, and that allows for an even deeper stretch in the entire chest. Especially on the lower part, the stretch just feels quite amazing, and the contraction here as well. As you can see, I like to hold the contraction for at least a second to make sure that the momentum there is gone. Now you've got 2 versions of the flies. You have cable flies and also dumbbell flies. I've said this time and time again, but it is important to realize that when you're doing dumbbell flies, for example, the contraction part you see right here is very difficult to achieve with the same tension caused by weights. So if you want to go for a mind-muscle connection, try doing the cable flies, but if you want for a superior stretch and a different angle, go for the dumbbell flies. Now here I of course have to watch the progress that I make. Having your own gym provides you with the opportunity to train shirtless from time to time without actually being looked upon weird, because it is your own gym. And there is no rules except for the ones that you set yourself, and there is no rule for this right here, so that's pretty amazing. But here you can see that I'm trying to stay in shape during this lean bulk, even though I'm eating quite a lot right now. I don't really carb cycle anymore. I just watch the mirror, I watch the weight, and then depending on those, I might have a low day here and there. But mostly it's high carb, in between 500 and 600 grams of carbs, 350 grams of protein, and around 110 grams of fat. And with that, I'm able to keep this shape and slowly build quality mass where it needs to go. And then the last chest exercise is the weighted dips, one of the best movements for an optimal finisher and an optimal stretch of the lower pecs. What you can do to add some weight to weighted dips is either use a dipping belt or simply use a dumbbell in between the legs, which is what I prefer right now. It's a lot less effort, it's a lot easier, and you can drop the dumbbell once you cannot do any more reps and do a drop set immediately, which is a nice way to finish off the chest for sure. Alright, and then another exercise, the close grip bench press with a neutral grip. Thanks to the investment that we made in the gym, one of the investments is also this barbell, which is a multi-grip barbell, and you can actually use it for a wide grip or a small grip, narrow grip, and you can also use it not only for pressing but also for a bent over row, for example, but with an optimal contraction, allowing your elbows to stay closer to your upper body. This is what I like to do whenever I miss a certain exercise or a barbell or equipment. During a workout, I simply invest in it and I make sure it gets in the gym. Me and my girlfriend Marley, who is the official owner of the gym, make sure that this gym has everything you could possibly wish for. So you can watch right here the website if you live in the Netherlands, and if you want to visit the gym, you can do so by visiting that link right there. This is a gym that I work out every single day. We're able to do everything with very heavy weights for sure. And then the last tricep exercise. So the closed grip bench press we just did is very good for the medial head of the triceps, which provides thickness to the triceps. There you would want to have an optimal stretch at the bottom and a nice squeeze at the top. But right here, what you want is really isolate those triceps. That press was actually a compound movement. The chest was helping a little bit, but this movement is an isolation movement, but it's a superset, pumping up and finishing off those triceps. So the first version of this superset, the first set, is actually the rope pushdown, allowing for the small head of the triceps to be filled up with blood. And then the second set of the superset is actually an overhead extension, causing that incredible long head of the tricep to become even bigger. Why do I call it incredible? Because the long head of your tricep is the biggest portion, biggest muscle portion you can let grow on your upper arms, which make them look the biggest. So if you lack upper arm size, you want to work the long head of the triceps. And the only true way to do that, put emphasis on that part, is by doing an overhead movement like this overhead extension, or doing a skull crusher behind the head, or a French press, stuff like that. Those are amazing exercises for the long head, but doing that on a cable allows for a constant tension and allows you to go past failure, because my dad is spotting me right here. You can't really see it, but he can multitask like that. Anyway guys, that was the video. And by the way, the workout clothing I'm wearing right now is all new, available on vintagegenetics.com. I want to thank you for watching, and don't forget to stay golden.